You were going to have me executed a short while ago. I expect a proper apology.
Then please accept my apology once more, sir. But given the circumstances...
Given the circumstances? What circumstances?
Sir, poaching is a capital offense.
And are you the king? That you can hand down death sentences?
Sir, I could not have realized that.
You couldn't have realized! Yes, you could! But then, you wouldn't have been able to play the Lord and stage private executions!
Sir, once more, I apologize. And now, please allow me to show you to your quarters.
I wouldn't dream of inconveniencing you! I'll find my quarters by myself! Henry, once you're done with that annoying fool, get your horse, and we'll meet at the gate.
Well, it seems Lord Capon will not be requiring my services anymore today.
I think you owe him a proper apology.
I think I've apologized more than enough. Even though I had little reason not to regard him as a poacher. But still, I will try to rectify my error. Nevertheless, welcome to Trotsky, the finest and biggest castle you shall ever see. Rumor has it that the castle was built on the jaws of hell, and that we're sometimes plagued by demons here. But don't believe a word of it. It's just idle talk to excuse the servants' laziness and incompetence. It's demanding enough keeping everything here running smoothly without any of that. It requires a man of exceptional qualities and talents. By the way, this place is a maze for strangers. It's very easy to get lost.
People are always up. But they're never good enough. I don't want someone who's enough. I need someone who's capable, has a good head on his shoulders, and most important...
The jail cells are down there. But I believe you are already fairly well acquainted with that part of the castle, aren't you?
All too well, thanks.
Here it is. You'll find a bed inside, opposite the door, and a chest where we put your belongings. You'll find some new clothing there, a little gift from our gracious lord, to ensure you're not mistaken for a beggar again. Once you're settled in and properly dressed, stop by the stables. They're beyond the gate, down the path. Ask for Kabat. He was supposed to prepare a horse and tack for you. Or tell him you'll keep your own if you insist. Then he'll give you proper tack at least, so you don't disgrace us.
Thanks. I'm grateful.
As you should be. So, you and I are finished, and I can finally attend to some proper work, so this castle doesn't fall on our heads.
While exploring the region, I came across several graves of your men.
Ah, yes. Captain Thomas and his men were not the only ones not to return. At least we know what happened to them. Here. Something for your trouble.
Is there any work around the castle I can help with?
Well, there's the issue with the demons.
Demons?
Quiet! I don't want to cause a panic. But yes, unfortunately. Once again, devils are wreaking havoc at Trotsky.
You mean horned ones? From hell?
Do you know any other kind? I'm preoccupied with tasks from Lord von Berghoff at the moment, so I don't have time to deal with it. But I suppose you could do it? You and that friend of yours have a lot to make up for.
You want me to get involved with hell itself? At least tell me more about it.
Ah, you know the times we're living in. War, bandits. The devil took advantage of the chaos and sent his hellspawn here. The castle is built upon an ancient, though fortunately extinguished, fiery moor. It's no wonder it's so close to hell. The spawn of hell shows up here from time to time, and I want you to improve your standing with me and help me out.
How many do you think there are?
A lot. Certainly more than there are sinners in the region. Expect at least 10 beasts for every soul.
That's some army. And I've never seen a real demon before. So what needs to be done?
Our cooks, Manietta and Berto, were complaining about the creatures running around their kitchens. Ossina, the castle blacksmith, was also blabbering something of the sort as well. The good news is it's only 3 people, for now. We have to act quickly to prevent the panic from spreading any further.
What did you do about it in the past? I reckon this isn't the first time you've had to deal with it.
We usually cleansed the infested places with the help of a priest or an apothecary. Except for that one year when Sir Otto himself faced Lucifer in the Maiden Tower.
Lord von Berghoff has my admiration, then. How long did they fight? And what kind of armor was Lucifer wearing? Did Lord von Berghoff sustain any injuries?
In any case, you'll have to ask Manietta and Berta, or the blacksmith perhaps, where the demons are coming from. And then simply make sure to get rid of them for good. You understand? I'm sure both the scribe Erazim and Father Nicodemus will have something to say about it as well. The question is if you're up to it, or if I should call in someone braver.
I'm ready to scour the castle and try to chase those monsters away. Could you arrange for me to be able to go wherever I want in the castle, without anyone chasing me out?
Very well. You can move freely about the castle while completing this task. But don't stay any longer than necessary in otherwise forbidden areas. I'll let the guards and servants know discreetly. If anyone asks, tell them you have my permission.
You said something about a priest and an apothecary. Should I pay them a visit?
We've always used either holy water or magic water from the apothecary to get rid of those hellish creatures. Which one would you prefer?
I'll try the water from the apothecary.
He supposedly went all the way to the Takoff waterfall to collect it during the full moon. I believe you can do it. Should the demons attack you, just run away. But don't make too much of a ruckus, or you cause a panic.
You're my doggy, eh?
If I did, I wouldn't leave it till the last moment this year.
Hey, you. Have you done something I should know about?
I'm not doing anything. You're doing a great job keeping watch.
You'd better believe it.
Don't you dare cause any trouble.
Ah, don't worry. I'm a saint.
You'd better
I'd like to learn a new combat technique.
Why not? If you have a bit of time, I can teach you something. As you can probably figure, I like the longsword because it's beautiful and an absolutely nimble weapon. Our grandfathers didn't use them, but today in Prague, everyone is tripping over themselves to learn how to fight with one. I'll be happy to show you how to handle it better. What do you say?
That sounds good. Teach me that.
As you wish. The first thing is to realize a sword has two blades, and thanks to your second hand on the hilt, you can quickly spin it around and hit your opponent's head. These are exactly the techniques that make the longsword an extremely deadly weapon. Now come and try it a few times. Good.
Can we fight?
As you wish. Practice or the real thing?
Nah, I don't want wooden weapons. Let's have a proper fight.
How many opponents do you want?
I'll manage with just you.
Are you ready? I surrender. But don't let it go to your head. I'll even the score next time.
We'll see about that.
I'm done for today. I reckon I'll be bloody sore tomorrow.
God bless.
Greetings to you, friends.
Greetings. What do you want?
I'm here for some horse tack. I hear you have something for me.
Well, fuck me blind. You got out of jail yesterday and today you've got a horse. Fuck, I wouldn't mind having your kind of luck. But you're fucking things up for me and making a mess. And I don't want to get a whipping on your account. I've got the tack ready, but I've been ordered to show you our herring first. You can take him, they said. So kindly take a look at him in the stable here and tell me if you want him or not. Yeah.
All right.
I took a look at herring.
And?
A nice animal, but I'll keep my own.
Never mind looking a gift horse in the mouth, you flat out refuse to accept one. You're lost though, pal. Actually, now we've got to know each other, I want to let you in on this little scheme. We could both get something out of it. But you'd have to keep it to yourself. What do you say? Can you keep your mouth shut when coin's at stake?
I can keep my mouth shut. You can count on it. What's this about coin then?
Look, it's easy as pie. You keep your horse, which you wanted to do anyway, but I'll say you took herring, and then I'll sell him to someone. You'll do all right out of it. I'll pay you up front.
Well, I might be interested, but I deserve a bigger cut. I'm not new to all this, so I'm well aware that the first offer to an accomplice is deliberately low, just in case he accepts. So forget about that and make it worth my while, because you'll get a tidy sum for a horse like that.
I didn't expect you to be so savvy. But you're not wrong. I'll give you double my first offer. I reckon that's fair.
Me too.
Right, now we can get back to the reason you're here. You know how to ride and control a horse?
Ah, don't worry. I'm right at home with horses. I learned to ride with cumans on my tail, and arrows whistling past my head. A tough school it was.
Well, I'll be damned. I never heard such a thing before. But even an experienced horseman like you needs equipment, as you well know. You can tack him up yourself, right?
Sure. Thanks.
fresh air will do us both a world of good.
I was wondering if you'd lend me your bullock when it's time to sow winter grain.
The Chamberlain mentioned you've seen demons at the castle.
You're damn right I did. What do you know about it?
Nothing. That's why I came to you.
I'm sure at least half a dozen demons have taken up residence in the western courtyard. If the Chamberlain didn't tell you how dangerous this is for all of us, I'm telling you now.
Of course he told me. That's why we're trying to resolve this as quickly as possible.
I'm glad to hear it. Give those demons their due.
Tell me what you know then.
You know the guardhouse with the little arena? In the palace below the Crone, over by the outer wall? Inside, I mean, on the ground floor. The place stinks like hell, day in and day out. It makes my head spin. I've seen things there with my own eyes I'd rather not talk about. I'd start the investigation there if I were you.
All right. I'll look into it.
Be careful. God is for our sins.
Lord von Berghoff, I've been told to deal with the demons plaguing the castle.
It's a thankless job, but a necessary one. I appreciate you taking care of it.
Are they really so much trouble around here?
They've been a nuisance ever since the castle was built. Call him whatever you want. Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub. That hellish bastard certainly wasn't happy when Sir Vincent started building 2 towers right on top of his extinguished fairy estate.
I can't imagine he was.
But he soon realized it made him closer to people and that he could tempt them more easily. Many a poor soul in the lower castle has already fallen for his schemes and made a pact with hell.
Why don't you put a stop to it?
The castle is situated in a good strategic location. We have no choice but to try and tolerate Lucifer, and he has no choice but to tolerate us.
Excuse me.
What kind of tasks do you do for Lord von Berghoff?
Rare ones, lad. His lordship spends little time at Trotsky. As the Royal Chamberlain, he has to be in Prague most of the time.
What does the Royal Chamberlain do?
I understand, lad. You're asking about his authority, eh?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know anything at all about him.
Sir Otto von Burgo is the Royal Chamberlain. Subcamerarius in Latin. He's one of the 9 most powerful officials in the kingdom. He manages the royal towns and monasteries, approves the councillors and abbots in them, and appoints the royal judges.
Why does Sir Otto have to be in Prague so often?
Because that's the seat of the royal court, and our lord is one of the highest royal officials. Praga caput regni, young man. Prague is the heart of the kingdom. All the political threads come together there. It's where they handle administration of the country. If you want to be somebody, you have to go to Prague, or to Moravia, to that traitor Jobst of Luxembourg.
Excuse me, but why do you consider Margrave Jobst a traitor?
And what else should I call a person who only looks out for any chance to benefit himself?
But now he's fighting for King Wenceslas, isn't he?
Jobst has changed sides so often it's impossible to keep track. But, to give him credit where credit is due, unlike our king, he's a great politician. Wenceslas wasn't even able to hold on to the imperial crown that his father passed on to him before he died. Yes, indeed. One day that bloody Margrave Jobst of ours is going to make it big. He might even become the emperor himself.
Why doesn't Lord von Burgov free our King Wenceslas from captivity in Vienna? He's powerful enough for that, isn't he?
It's politics, boy. Pure and simple.
I understand. But could you explain it a bit more for me? Why did they take our king captive? And why did the Czech lords let Sigismund spread all over the country like a plague?
That's complicated. Back during the reign of both King's father, Emperor Charles, the nobles gained great wealth and power. And when young Wenceslas came to the throne, he didn't have enough experience or courage to stand up to them. That's why he surrounded himself with faithful lower lords and entrusted them with all the royal offices.
I reckon the high nobility didn't like that, eh?
You're damn right they didn't. They conspired against the king and established their League of Lords. That started a protracted war, dragging the king's cousins, Prokop and Jobst of Luxembourg, into it. But King Wenceslas was stubborn, unyielding, and, unfortunately, also often drunk. He preferred to run away from politics to wine, women, and the hunt. It was only a matter of time before the lords conspired with his brother, the Hungarian King Sigismund. A year ago, they got together and captured Wenceslas in Prague, and Sigismund had the royal castles occupied by his allies. They secretly took the king to Vienna, where his brother is still holding him firmly under lock and key.
So von Burgov and the others want Sigismund to be king?
Not at all. Soon they discovered they'd miscalculated, and that Sigismund wanted the whole country for himself. And now, they can't agree on what to do about it. I think that's why Lord von Burkhoff received your message. He's trying to find new allies among the lower nobility.
Who are among Wenceslas's opponents?
Who do you think? All the nobles in the League of Lords, of course. The most powerful are Henry of Rosenberg, Henry of Hraditz, Boresh of Riesenberg, Bohuslav of Schwamberg, and our Sir Otto von Burghoff, too, so far.
But we serve Sir Hanush of Lipa and Radzig Kobyla.
Exactly. They're representatives of the lower nobility, who always stood faithfully by Wenceslas because he handed out royal positions to them.
Ah, damn politics.
On the contrary, boy. It's only thanks to politics that von Burghoff didn't send you two to the gallows straight away.
I heard some interesting books from Prague have arrived at the castle. There's one I'd like to borrow. An alchemist's cookbook. A sand-coloured cover, embossed.
Yes, several rare and astonishing books have arrived from Prague. But why are you interested in an alchemist's cookbook, of all things?
I've heard there are some interesting ideas in it. Every alchemist is in dogged pursuit of wisdom, especially those from Prague.
Perhaps you know more about that book than I do. Well, I'll have to disappoint you. Lord Nickvard Libak helped me sort the new books at the time, and the one you're looking for caught his attention. He left with it before I could even discover what it's about. All I remember is the author's initials, B.B. I'm fairly benevolent when it comes to lending books, And I appreciate Nickvard's help, but he's had it borrowed for an excessive amount of time now. I'd like to ask him to return it, but he's been avoiding me.
Why would Nickvard suddenly be avoiding you?
I have a sneaking suspicion. It seems Nickvard lost the book. I've warned him repeatedly not to carry borrowed books around with him, but to leave them in his chamber and read them there. But Nickvard is old and stubborn, and this is how things turn out.
The price of such a book must be incalculable. People like Nickvard are too dumb to understand.
But I digress. As I said, Nickvard is intentionally avoiding me. But I've made headway. I've managed to find 3 people who've spoken to him recently. Bertha, the cook, Regina, the maid, and Hirsch, the hand.
For a nobleman, Nickvard is quite wary of his own kind, speaking only to servants.
I'm surprised that he's ever spoken to anyone but myself. Nickvard is a loner. Which is also why I suspect something bad has happened. Now that he's decided to leave his shell, that is. But I'm afraid that's all I've managed to find out. Since Lord von Berkhove's arrival, I've been preoccupied with other matters.
I'll help you. I'll ask all 3 and see if they lead me to Nickvard.
Many thanks. If you aren't sure what to do, stop by and we'll discuss what you found out.
Before I go, can you tell me where I can find those people in the castle?
Who, exactly?
You said Nickvard is avoiding you. Where at the castle does he live? Are there any places he frequents?
Nickvard lives like a hermit here at Trotsky. Like a ghost. His chambers are in the Crone's Tower. But God knows if he's ever slept there. He took his meals down in the Crone's kitchen. Lately, I've often seen him talking to Regina in the Knight's Hall, in the Maiden, or looking out the hall window. I caught sight of him a few times with Hirsch at the transport yard below the castle.
So I just have to hope I run into him somewhere.
Nickvard always just shows up. I've rarely ever found him on my own. I'm not surprised you can't find him anywhere, since I've been trying myself.
Where is Bertha?
Bertha cooks for us in the Crone's kitchen. She's there most days. If you can't find her there, try the first house in the lower castle, across from the door to the dungeon.
Where is Regina?
As Lord von Berkhoff's personal maid, she'll likely be somewhere in the Maiden's Palace. Perhaps in the Knight's Hall, or on the floor above it, near the Lord's chambers. She even sleeps there.
Where is Hirsch, the stable boy?
I've seen him with Hirsch at the transport yard below the castle. He sleeps in the house directly across from it. I don't know him much, though.
That's everything I needed to know.
Welcome, sir. What can I do for you?
Do you know where I can find Nickvard? The scribe said you might know.
Erazim is suddenly interested in Nickvard and me. You don't say. But when I need him to read something for me, he never has the time. I'm sorry.
I was asking about Nickvard.
Aye, I heard you. Say, can you read?
I can.
In that case, would you mind reading this message I have from Nickvard?
Show me. Dear Mistress of the Chambers. What is it?
Oh, what I wouldn't give to get messages from someone else. Say, Lord Capon. Never mind. Read on. Though I reckon it interests you more than me.
Persevere. We shall soon escape the dungeon of those two women. Cursed fate, however, has placed an obstacle in my way. The heat of the Lightbringer's potion is working, and I can feel my insides being reborn. But when the last remnants of old age left my body, something else was washed away with them.
How much longer is it?
Not much. My damn clumsiness has sent all of the Lightbringer's secrets into the void, but fear not, I shall get them back. May this be the first task on the road to your liberation. That's it.
Beautiful.
True enough. Nickvard has a flair for the dramatic.
My, that's Liebach for you.
But what does it mean? Can you explain any of it to me?
Lord Liebach has taken a liking to me. I suggested to him it wasn't proper for a noble to have an affair with a maid. He thought I meant he was too old for me. But then he found what he calls the Lightbringer's potion book. He said it would light a flame in him that would burn out all that's old. So I suppose it worked. Hooray!
I know the book he's talking about, but what does he mean, into the void?
Look, can we stop talking about this? I feel a little uncomfortable here, talking about some old lovelorn nobleman.
I understand. Just one more thing, please. When was the last time you saw Nickvard? And where?
The last time was in the Knight's Hall, but that was a long time ago. I found that message a few days ago. Hard to say where he's off to.
Thanks anyway.
Things have been happening here.
I'd like to just... How's this?
You really want... You'll... Come again.
I'm looking for Nickvard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Well, I'm waiting for Lord Libac to stop by. I brewed him another phial of medicine, but I don't even know if the last one helped. I told him to stop by for another one soon. I reckon he must be feeling better.
Nickvard needed medicine? For what?
I can't say. I promised Lord Libac his secret is safe with me, as well as his phial of medicine.
Oh, come now. Nickvard misplaced an important book somewhere. A sort of alchemist cookbook. I need to find it.
I remember the recipes by heart. And Lord Libac's secret is certainly worth more than any book.
Listen, Bertha. I truly respect your honesty. I'm in the service of a nobleman myself, and I know what's expected of us in cases like these, whether it's Nickvard's illness or political machinations over the fate of our kingdom. Both carry equal weight when spoken about behind closed doors, I'd say. I stand by my principles in matters like that.
Lord Libac's troubles can hardly compare to what you're talking about. It's really quite a trifle in comparison.
So you'll tell me then?
Well, it's a common potion for a bellyache. Just better tasting. It helps your meals go down easier and come out slower the other end. In that regard, Lord Libac had, well, how to say it? Everything came out much too quickly.
Nickvard didn't have time to run down the stairs, eh?
It was in the privy down below the crone, by the training ground below the guardhouse. I helped him clean his hose and made him the medicine, and I promised that I wouldn't say anything. Lord Libac is quite particular about the impression he makes on the young maids, you know. He didn't want this little episode to put them off. That's why he didn't use the privy near the maids' quarters, though it's closer to his chamber, but to the arena instead, and only when there weren't any soldiers around. But this time, it caught up with him.
Is that all?
What else is there to say? That the entire time he looked as if he'd done the worst thing in the world. It happens to the best of us, and I told him as much then. I'm just surprised he never came back for another file. I must say, he did look as if the fate of the entire castle was suddenly on his shoulders.
I don't know if this is going to do me any good.
Well, you could have found a worse clue.
Thanks anyway.
Here, Mutt! Heel!
Good afternoon.
I'm looking for Nickvard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Hey, Nick. I mean, Lord Libac. I almost forgot about him. I suppose his task wasn't so pressing. Hmm?
What task?
Nick Libac, that is, entrusted me with a big task quite a while back. He's a castle lord. Obviously, I had to obey him. But then I heard what another castle lord was planning, von Berghoff, and I had to obey him even more. He says there's a war on. So here I am, ready to go off to battle.
I need to know more about what Nick Vard asked you to do.
No. There are new rules now. You have to prove you're not a spy.
What are you blathering about?
Von Berghoff said there's a war on, right now. I told him, watch out for spies, Sir Otto. But fear not, I know how to sniff them out. You're a spy yourself, ain't you?
I'm not.
Ha! That's exactly what a spy would say. That's why you have to be vetted, to see if you're really on our side. The side that Nick Vard's on, just so you know. We're all friends here. You can join us.
I'd like to.
Hold your horses. First a test.
Tell me what you want from me, then.
A sword.
Sword? What sword?
A long and very good one to help me deal with other spies. If you bring it to me, I'll know you're not an enemy spy who should fear me. Forge one, buy one, or even steal one for me. Maybe from one of the guards at the training ground or down by the gate. During the day, they're not in the towers anyway.
Steal a sword? That sounds like something a spy would do.
Not a spy who wants to help von Berghoff's most loyal servant. By servant, I mean me. See, once I get a sword, I'll fill you in on Nick Vard's task.
Listen, Hirsch.
Don't try any word games on me. Persuasion, threats, I know about them spy tricks. Deeds talk louder than words. For example, like bringing me a sword.
I'll think of a way to convince you.
Oh, you mutt.
Greetings. Good to see you, friend. I went to see him, but he threw me out. And you're surprised? But it was just a simple misunderstanding. You made a fool of yourself.
Easy.
What am I supposed to do
Easy.
then?
Nice and slow. Whoa! Whoa!
To use, for God's sake. What a waste of money.
Didn't you hear that the king himself announced that everyone...
How can I help you, stranger?
What do you have? I'd like to do...
Well,
Is this enough?
you'll have to make... Hi. Glad to be of help to you, good sir.
About Nickford.
Got that sword yet, spy?
You wanted a sword? So look at what I got for you.
I don't want an invisible
I'll think...
Don't think I can't see you.
I'm not doing anything. You're doing a great job keeping watch.
You better believe it.
Let's talk... Is this enough?
You'll have to make... Aye. Thank you, sir. And come again.
About Nickford.
Got that sword yet, spy?
You wanted a sword? So look at what I got for you.
That's perfect. Lovely. I don't think you're a spy. Can't say for sure, but you seem all right.
What about Nickford, then?
Nickvard asked me to do something for him. He must have admired my devotion to Lord von Berghoff. Either way, Nick looked troubled and not very healthy. He wanted me to fetch him something he lost outside the castle. And I told him I would. At least I could check to see if anyone was sneaking around about the castle. But then Nickvard clutched his belly and ran off. So I never found out what he wanted, or from where.
That's all?
Aye. If you run into Nickvard, ask him if he still needs it or whether he found it himself. I'll be going into war soon, so I don't have time for these things, see?
I'll tell him.
Greetings. What would...
If I sin before God, is there any way I can atone for my sins?
Well, well, well. Have you got a guilty conscience, friend? You can pay the indulgence in the scribe's box. Or you can take the path of repentance and go on a pilgrimage. It will improve your reputation with people, but beware. Making a pilgrimage does not erase your crimes in the eyes of the law, nor does it release you from paying a fine. Always keep that in mind.
What can I do for you?
Bring me some wine.
Mert! Oh, he's run off again.
I'm in no mood. Don't think I can't see you.
I apologize.
I'd like to learn...
What is this about?
Careful.
Well.
Once more, excuse me.